This animal is over 70 years old. It has never aged. In 2010, researchers at Postojna Cave in Slovenia looked into a research tank and recorded something that didn't fit. An olm, pale, blind, barely longer than a human hand, drifted motionless in the cold, black water. Its feathery red gills pulsed. Its skin, translucent enough to see blood moving beneath it, showed no lesions, no degradation, no sign of time passing. The limestone walls around it were damp. The air smelled of wet rock and cold. The animal's name is Proteus anguinus. It lives exclusively in the underground cave systems of the Dinaric Alps, threading through submerged passages where no light has ever reached. For centuries, local Slovenian communities had a different name for it. When floodwaters flushed these creatures out of the earth, people believed they were looking at baby dragons, not salamanders, dragons. That misidentification lasted until 1768, when Josephus Nicolaus Laurenti gave the species its first scientific description. The mystery, though, did not end there. It only deepened. Every vertebrate on record accumulates cellular damage over time. Tissues degrade, mortality risk climbs. That is the definition of aging. Proteus anguinus does not appear to follow that rule. Jean-Marie Exbrayat at the Université Catholique de Lyon documented, across multi-decade captive specimens, the absence of typical aging biomarkers in olm tissue. The markers that should be there are simply not present. The animal can also survive without food for up to 10 years, not days, years. Frederick Hervant and colleagues, writing in the Journal of Experimental Biology in 2001, confirmed it reduces metabolic rate and reabsorbs its own tissue to endure. No movement, no food, no measurable aging. Something is happening inside this animal that vertebrate biology was not built to accommodate. By the end of this video, there is one number from a peer-reviewed paper, a mortality rate measurement from Voituron et al., published in Biology Letters, that will force a complete rethink of what aging actually is. The obvious answer is metabolism. Everyone reaches for it. Cold caves, no food, no light. The body slows to a crawl, and a crawl stretches time. This is called the rate of living theory. The idea that burning energy slowly means burning out slowly. It's been foundational in aging biology for decades. Turtles live long. Bats live long. Cold, slow creatures outlast. Warm, fast ones. It makes sense. And for the olm, it fits at first. Lilijana Bizjak-Mali at the National Institute of Biology, Slovenia, documented in 2012 that Proteus anguinus can reduce its metabolic rate dramatically under starvation conditions. Floris, Hervant and colleagues confirmed it in the Journal of Experimental Biology in 2001. The olm can survive up to 10 years of starvation by reabsorbing its own tissue. 10 years, without eating. The body almost stops. So the math should work. Slow the machine down far enough, and a vertebrate lives longer. Simple. Except the numbers don't close. Yves Voituron at Université Claude Bernard Lyon, ran the lifespan data against known metabolic scaling laws, the equations biologists use to predict how long an animal of a given mass and metabolic rate should live. A vertebrate the size of an olm, even with severe metabolic suppression, should reach 30 to 40 years, maybe 50 under extreme conditions. Voituron's mark recapture study, published in Biology Letters in July 2011, returned a maximum lifespan estimate of 102 years. The gap isn't small. It isn't a rounding error. Decades remain unexplained. And here is the question that stops the theory cold. Other vertebrates live in cold, food, scarce environments with suppressed metabolisms, cave fish, certain salamanders, deep water species barely moving in near freezing water. None of them reach a century, not one. So if slow metabolism explains the olm, why doesn't it explain them? Here is what metabolism cannot explain. Cold slows everything. Darkness suppresses appetite. Stillness stretches a lifespan. That logic holds, and Chapter 2 made the case cleanly. But Jean-Marie Exbrayat at the Université Catholique de Lyon spent years examining ulm tissue samples from multi-decade captive specimens. What he found wasn't slow degradation. It was near zero degradation. The cellular damage that accumulates in every other vertebrate, oxidative wear, protein misfolding, mitochondrial decay, was almost absent. Not reduced, absent. That is a different category of thing entirely. In most vertebrates, mortality risk doubles every 8 years after sexual maturity. This is the Gompertz curve, the mathematical signature of aging, documented across hundreds of species. Your cells accumulate errors, the errors compound. The body loses its ability to repair faster than it breaks. Every vertebrate studied follows this curve. The ulm does not. Yves Voituron, at the Université Claude Bernard Lyon 1, ran 8 years of mark recapture data from a hero population. The mortality rate across age classes showed no increase, none. Young animals died at the same low rate as old animals. The Gompertz curve, for Proteus anguinus, is flat. That is not slow aging, that is the measurable absence of aging. The partial mechanism involves extreme oxidative stress resistance. The ulm's cells sustain almost no cumulative damage from normal metabolic byproducts. But here is what the biology cannot yet answer. This resistance isn't unique to cave animals. Naked mole rats show similar pathways, certain jellyfish, a handful of invertebrates. Across hundreds of millions of years of vertebrate evolution, the cellular machinery for negligible senescence appears to exist, and yet it emerged in almost nothing. Why did it emerge here? In this animal? In this cave? Voituron's paper, published in Biology Letters in July 2011, closed with a sentence that rarely appears in academic writing. The mechanism, the authors stated, remains unidentified. A 102-year-old salamander, a flat mortality curve, a missing mechanism, but there is one more number from Postojna, and it changes the question completely. Here is the number. 0.4% per year, every year, regardless of age. Yves Voituron at Université Claude Bernard Lyon 1 published it in Biology Letters in July 2011. 8 years of mark recapture data, dozens of individuals tracked across their lives. The annual mortality rate for Proteus anguinus, 0.4%, and it never moves, not at year 10, not at year 50, not at year 90. For any vertebrate of comparable body mass, actuarial models predict one thing without exception: mortality climbs with age, cells accumulate damage, repair mechanisms degrade. The death risk curve bends upward, always. That is what the model says. That is what every vertebrate confirms except one. The ulm's curve stays flat. Voituron's paper named it directly. The maximum lifespan of the ulm, he wrote, is estimated to be 102 years, considerably longer than expected for an amphibian of this body mass. The mechanism driving that flatness. The paper's own authors stated it remains unidentified. This is what negligible senescence means. The animal does not accumulate death risk as it ages. Fewer than 10 species on Earth carry that designation. Most are invertebrates, jellyfish, sea urchins, creatures built on completely different biological architecture. The ulm is a vertebrate, spine, organs, limbs. A body plan that shares more with yours than a jellyfish ever will, and it does not age in any measurable sense that biology can currently explain. Jean-Marie Exbrayat at Université Catholique de Lyon confirmed in 2006 that typical aging biomarkers are absent in ulm tissue across multi-decade captive specimens. The cellular signature of aging simply not present. Remember the promise from the beginning of this video, a mortality rate that should be mathematically impossible for any vertebrate of this body mass. There it is, 0.4%, flat, for a century. In a cave in Slovenia, right now, an animal is resting motionless against limestone, and science cannot tell you why it is still alive, or why it should not be. The answer is still missing. Subscribe for a new breakdown like this every day.